Hello, wraps, or I can call you onions. This is called high voltage. Thank you for subscribing. It means so much to me. You know it's true. You know why? Because every time you join me, you bring us closer to creating my dream a reality. I promise not to fail you. I promise to make this charity something new. So I'm learning how to edit because Trevor's Life in Legos, this channel, Trevor's Life in Legos, he gives you free help if you're technologically challenged. I would just like everybody to know it's late here in Ontario, in Beamsville, and I'm just going to dive into the point. And what does rap mean? It's sort of even my prayer mantra. Welcoming, accepting all aspects of people's societies. Welcoming, respecting aspects of all people's societies. I'm doing something a little different tonight, a little bit out of my comfort zone. You can tell by my voice I'm very tired. So I was going to finish reading The Exorcism of Annalise Michael because the Andrew Gold book is on its way. The Andrew Gold book's on its way. And it's going to be good. It's going to be so much fun. We love Andrew Gold here. Okay. And then I was talking all day about how I had ADHD. How about maybe a compulsive disorder and labeling yourself? But here's the point. I am going to finish this book because there are some absolutely unequivocally obtuse arguments in which either side could argue and win as to whether or not God and the devil exists or not. I believe the devil does exist, but I believe the devil comes in many forms. For instance, I can't even say this man's name. You know, Johnny Depp has an island, and it's absolutely for security and privacy because he's an introvert. And then there was another gentleman that had an island that was so sick and we know who I'm talking about. I want to read this article to you. I have some questions about the supposed vanishing of EJ. J-E-E-J. Let's just go with EJ. I'm trying to think of something, EJ, like, or embracing the jackal. Could you imagine being a young woman and getting caught up in that? Why has the fall gone only on Ms. Maxwell? I have listened to a variety of the survivor stories like Maria Farmer, Annie Farmer, Sarah Ranson. I can say these names because they've all been on talk shows. But what's most interesting to me is when Virginia Roberts Giuffre, like, how long did she have this photograph and why did she bring it forward when she did? She said she was terrified for her life, but they really didn't go into detail because I remember watching Filthy Rich, and Virginia Giuffre was standing on the sand in Australia, and she said, we were like a real, I'm not quoting this, but this is by my memory, and her mouth was dry all the time, and her voice was really dry and groggy, and not groggy, but hoarse, very hoarse for such a young woman. Very, very skinny as a teenager too. One thing they have never brought up, I think those girls must have been using a lot of different unhealthy that you ingest or put in your system to have serotonin and dopamine releases, because how on earth could, like, the way, okay, so Virginia Giuffre Roberts, do you know that $510 million has gone out to the Epstein survivors? There's lots of Epsteins, by the way. There's actually a gentleman, and his name is Mark Epstein, but it's not Evil Jackal. Evil Jackal! Evil Jackal, Evil Jackal. Why is it all falling on her? And what has happened to all of the perpetrators or predators or primal behavior? Like, I don't know, but these uber rich, wealthy elites have very strange inks in their kinks. But the evil jackal, his disappearance, or I wouldn't be surprised if he was still alive. You know why? I can't find the picture because it's on videos. I don't want to get a copyright, but everybody saw the picture of Jeffrey Epstein. I just said it. Anyway, the evil jackal. Do you remember the picture when they brought the evil? Does it matter if I say evil jackal or J-E or the real name in code when everybody knows what I'm talking about? Why is this woman sitting in jail? She doesn't deserve to sit in jail till she dies. I just absolutely don't believe that. You know what? She's already, like, trust me, she's suffered. For her, Yeah, she needs an ankle bracelet. Send her back to England and leave her there. Get her out of the jail. Like, what for? What good does jail do anybody anyways? It costs the government so much money. She's not even, I mean, unless they keep her in custody because she's wealthy and they can keep refilling up her tank in the jail so she can buy things, or maybe she has a big old open cell the way the evil jackal did when he served his 18 months. Now these women, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Look, do you remember the girl on Filthy Rich who was 16 years old, but she looked more voluptuous and she was a beautiful Latina woman, and she was told to go give this guy a massage, and this is during, you know, the late 90s, early 2000s, you know? And I will say, Whitney Webb did an excellent job with the story. I'm off track, but Maria Farmer and Annie Farmer. Maria Farmer, people think she's crazy, but she's not. I admire that woman. I admire all of the women. But back to Virginia Roberts Giuffre. At least these women were compensated. It took years, but it happened because they didn't give up. And I heard that the evil jackal had soaps the shapes of our different parts. So there was no way that Prince Andrew didn't know what was going on. And the reason I just thought of him is because this is the article that I wanted to read you. And then I'll tell you why I think it's so bizarre. His brother, Mark, has been doing the YouTube rounds lately, like on Chris Como. I found a really good channel last night, and it's called, I put it under the mental health book because I'm not finished reading it yet. We haven't even gotten started on this one. You know, and mental health in children, we left off right here. This is where we are. So at any rate, the channel that I found last night, Lasha, do not, where did you write it? Where did you write it? Oh, it's SIERIA Blanty. If you type in to YouTube the Kennedys and the women they destroyed, it will take you to various channels. This girl has 999, almost 1 million people tune into her. But what blows me away is she has 1 million people that tune into her, and this one video she did, I watched it, and she's hilarious. She said, you know, like that man on the island, you know what happened? Like, she is just, her style is so different than Cheer Denise. Cheer Denise is, you know, when she reads one page of a book, she gives you her absolute opinion on what she believes. And I find her to be so persuading. I sometimes wish she would read the chapters and then do a live and maybe talk about it instead, because I've noticed that it doesn't matter about that. It does, but at this point, the evil jackal, and the question is, why is it all falling on the woman? Now, I know that based on what we've heard, based on the what she's been charged with, it fell on her. She hasn't mentioned any names. Nothing. So why is it falling only on her? Why is it that Donald Trump is able to... You know, this is the thing about Donald Trump. He's a buffoon. And people think he's a god. And the whole Trump thing is almost similar to what happened in World War II, and I'll explain it. When one of the most evil dictators of all time, Adolf Hitler, he brainwashed 2 generations of white German people to learn to have prejudice against a certain culture, i.e. the Holocaust, i.e. that's why I'm still reading that book. I haven't even taken it back to the library. There's a lot I want to read, but it all ties in because, for instance, I'm listening to Lady Victoria Harvey, and all of the channels I watch are on all the liked videos that are on my channel. And the reason I'm such an open book is because everything that I've told you is everything about me. So I guess the reason I did that is so, sometimes people will do digging about you. But everything's there. It's on Google, it's on YouTube, Linkipedia, Facebook, TikTok. And do you know what? I just wanted to say, I by accident started 3 channels, and high voltage is at 479. $21 more people that are interested to join the rap community, this little area where we have conversations about evil jackals, to Matthew Perry, to dancing, to singing, to sometimes I put on my makeup, like halfway to Google's goal of 1,000. However, L&L Soul Sisters, for some reason, went from 272 to 294 in the last 2 months, and the Lasha Rajanko channel was at 67 folks, and now there's 74 folks. So that means almost 20 people have joined between the 3 channels. But I think what happened is some of the people that joined high voltage have also joined the other channels, but I just want you all to know that everything does end up on high voltage. And this is but all 3 channels together, guess how many people took the time out of their life? Are you ready? 849. Which means 250 more souls that are interested in this content. It's like my dream is coming true. And I just can't thank all of you enough. Okay, so back to story time. So why is it falling again on the woman? Look, I'm not saying what she did was right or wrong. I wasn't there. Annie Farmer, out of all of the girls, had the cleanest, I guess I don't even like to use that word, according to society standards, she had the most credible testimony out of everybody, because some of the girls, through the trauma, being so young, coming out of the evil jackal's home with their eyes dead. But I don't understand, if he was such an evil jackal and you couldn't get away. Virginia Roberts Giuffre said that Jeffrey and Ghislaine asked her to have a baby. And she said, I will, but you promised me I would be a masseuse, so I want to go be a masseuse first. So they gave her and bought her a ticket to Thailand to go be a masseuse. And then one day she met her husband, they fell in love, and she phoned Jeffrey. And even as a 40-year-old woman, she stood there and she said, Jeffrey, I don't want this life anymore, and I am not coming back. And he hung up. So that's what I don't understand. And Robbie, we have to go get him. We're gonna go get him. If you're a young woman and you're groomed like that and abused like that, and what Lady Victoria Harvey said was disgusting. She was on this Scotsman's channel. His name's Jason. If you want to know who I'm talking about, just type in YouTube Lady Victoria Harvey interview about Ghislaine and Andrew. I am so sick of, okay, so let's wrap up the evil jackal. We all know the story. But why is it falling on the woman again? When I listened to the evil jackal's brother Mark talking to Chris Como, he was talking to Sidebar, I think, and there was another channel he was on just via voice because he's trying to keep his identity, So Chris Como was just questioning Mark E. about his brother, and I didn't really talk to my brother. He has a New York accent, but it's a real New York, New York. I'm not having it. I love the way New Yorkers talk, honestly. Talking Canadian is just so boring. But anyway, Lady Victoria Harvey told Jason that Sarah Ranson and Virginia Giuffre and Maria Farmer was crazy, and that they were she called them and she thinks that Andrew's innocent. What she said was, Lady Victoria Harvey is on this podcast, like she has this accent, and it's sort of like, it's very British, but like she lived in LA, and she was talking about health, and like, that sloppy look on a woman, it just doesn't look good. Like, I just can't sure. It's quite. What she said about those women were an abomination. I don't know who she is. I don't know why she's a lady, but I do know that Eyes Wide Shut was filmed in Lady Victoria Harvey's castle, and Sidney Pollack created that movie years ago, and I always didn't get it, and now I get what it's about. It's like an underworld. And the reason I brought up Trump is because exactly what AH did, that's what DT is doing. Because He focused on the white, disenfranchised people with nothing. And he's a buffoon. But I do not think he's ever anybody like, oh my gosh. So he's curious about Jackal's death, but I think he's still alive, and probably not. But where is he buried? There was nothing covered about his death. Who went to the funeral, right? Was he cremated? Was he buried? What? And the brother wants to know who killed him, and he believes that the brother believes that the evil jackal, the jackal evil of the island, was knocked off by one of these heavy-hitting politicians because he knew too much. Now, where's Lex Wessner? What happened to him? Questions. Why is it all falling on Ghislaine Maxwell? I think it's wrong. I do. Now, that's just my opinion. If you want to know why I feel that way, please. And what are your thoughts in the comments? I've wanted to do something like this for so long. Now, this article is old, and it's, I'll show it to you. It's from the Intelligencer. It's an online, reveal about Donald Trump. Now, the thing is, wouldn't you want to know who our president is going to be if you're an American? Yes. I'm Canadian. I don't understand Justin Trudeau. I know more about American politics than Canadian. However, I'm going to learn. Speculation about which famous and powerful figures would be tarnished by the, a jackal evil scandal heated up at the end of last year when a judge ordered that court documents from a year-old case related to the disgraced financier be made public. He wasn't even a financier. There were no records of any trades that he ever did anywhere. He was involved with the CIA, absolutely. Perhaps the biggest question surrounding the court documents unsealing was what they would reveal about Donald Trump. The hype escalated on the afternoon of What about Bill Clinton? You know, Donald Trump has had affairs, and he's a pervert, and he talks like a buffoon, and he makes no sense, and he's greedy for power. And if you give somebody power who's greedy for power, they'll abuse it. Now, the big book that I really want to talk about after Andrew Gold, because it's an easier read, but I'm waiting till it goes to the library. The Kennedys and the women they destroyed. Based on what I've researched thus far, Robert Kennedy Jr., a possible candidate for the Democratic Party, because Joe Biden, I believe he's starting to get some kind of Parkinson's or something. I have no idea why he won't stop at his age. He looks frail. He's tired. It's somebody else's time. Especially, now, if he was working at a different level, but we're talking the presidency of the United States. Now, he might get confused, but he has good advisors, and the man's brain works. He just doesn't look well, and for his own health, I don't understand why he's pressing forward. I really don't. Joe, you did it. You beat him. Trump is going to win. That's just the bottom line. I don't know if I can handle 4 more Trump years, but do not. Robert Kennedy Jr., I heard him on Bill Maher, and I remember looking at him. I got closed up real easy, and I said to my mother, that guy is a creep, an absolute creep. His voice was like, his voice was so like this, and I was going up, and then Bill Maher was asking him questions about policies, and he was talking like this, and it was driving me crazy. Do you know what he did to his wife? Do you know what he did to his wife? He had her institutionalized against her will, which didn't happen. And when she passed away, she was in the Kennedy. He cut her off financially with his 4 children, with the mother, the Kennedy dynasty, and he cut her financially off. And when she died, she passed away, and she was in the Kennedy plot, and then without permits, permission, or anything, he excavated her grave 7 miles away from the Kennedy plot by the highway alone. Personally, I do not believe in putting bodies in coffins in the earth. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't get it. If you believe it and love it, tell me why. It's a respectful ritual to say goodbye. I love that. It's just, I know when my father passed, I remember him telling me, Lisa, when I die, he said, dig a hole, put my body in there, or get me cremated. Don't tell anybody. I don't want a funeral, and I don't want to be in a box. Well, he's in a box in the plot. My Tato did not want that. So the hype escalated on the afternoon of January 3rd of 2024 when Mark, from the evil jackal, the brother of the evil jackal said that 3 years before his brother died in jail while awaiting trial on blank trafficking charges. He told him he knew secrets that could blow up the presidential election between Trump and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is a psychopath. You know how you can't put your finger on it? Whatever you think about these rich people, the way Monica Lewinsky was treated, even back then, even by Barbara Walters in that interview. God bless Barbara Walters' soul. For the time, that's the way interviews were done, but it doesn't stand the test of time. Also, Bobby Kennedy, Jack Kennedy. There was no Kennedy curse. They were serial abusers of women. Do you know that Joe Sr. Kennedy, Irish Catholic, big deal back in those days. He came to America in the late 1800s. So think about it. There's like 6 generations of Kennedys running around everywhere. And Onassis and Jackie Onassis, that whole funeral about Camelot. Oh boy, tomorrow when I have a little more energy. So how does this all tie together? The Kennedy dynasty, a bunch of BS. Jack Kennedy was a serial philanderer who gave his wife chlamydia, who also Jackie Kennedy gave birth to a stillborn baby while he was off philandering, and Bobby Kennedy had to get his brother down and said, if you don't come now, that's the end of your presidency. He didn't care that his wife, Jackie, was lying in a bed alone after losing her daughter, Annabella. What kind of people do that? So I think Ghislaine absolutely is guilty. She doesn't deserve this. But why is it falling on the women? Why are all these men getting away with it again? And then you look at the royal family. What a bunch of baloney. Meghan Markle, I looked and I've watched TNT UK. And Emma does the best job explaining when she looks back on videos from 4 years ago, because it's so apparent now that she never gave birth to those children. I am also tired of watching documentaries. Linda Lovelace, from way back when, she had to do a lie detector test in order to write a biography, and people were still questioning her about the abuse. Why didn't Meghan and Harry have to do lie detector tests? Now, you can believe your own crap, but your body doesn't lie. So, J.F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, she did not find herself a prince but a toad, and I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. Until then, my friends, that is a wrap. Welcoming, respecting aspects of all people in society, even if they're evil jackals. He's evil. There are people that are reincarnated evil. Like Ted Bundy had a reptilian brain. I wish they had done an autopsy on his brain now. He was like a chameleon. It's weird. Was he an alien? Some people believe that aliens live on this world. I am not a conspiracy theorist at all. Anyways, what are your thoughts on this video? Catherine, if I were Catherine and William, I would just leave with the kids. Forget it. What purpose do they serve? I used to be 100% for the monarchy. And the more you read about, Cheer Denise has probably read every single royal book. The only one she didn't finish was Lady Colin Campbell, The Real Diana. And this is the one that she wrote after Charles. I believe to rehabilitate Charles's image. I do believe that. However, I think that sometimes we all need a little shake-up when our heads get too big. And I'm very excited tonight, but I know that could end tomorrow. So I just take every day and be grateful. I hope that you learned something from this video. And I'm really looking forward to going through the Mediterranean rendition, 9/11 Muslim community, the unconscious bias that everybody went through. And if you say that you weren't unconsciously biased under 9/11 against Muslims or Iraqis or people that were Arab, you're lying to yourself. And I have never met anybody Muslim that has been cruel. And you know what? There's good and bad people in every religion, in every culture. But you do not need a religion to be a good person, because God is within all of us. Okay? Sarah? Okay. That's a wrap. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you for listening. And honestly, if you want to find some really good channels, go to where on the page, and you'll see all the videos. I have YouTube on 24 hours a day. I just love it. Okay, bye.